like you said, it's not always about them. It's not always about you. It's about timing, situations, all these different things. Would you agree that's the only thing you should really let your guard down and kind of let it always, not flourish, but let it always
100%. And I think communication is so important.
Yeah.
With any kind of relationship, it is open communication and feedback with things. And a guy that, a lot of this is stemmed from reading. A guy that's really helped me with relationships is a guy called Orlando Baton. And, he wrote this New York Times post called Why You Will Marry the Wrong Person. And the reason being is, and it's a great thing to read. He says that, when we meet somebody, we've yet to really let them know who we really are. And what's really interesting is that most people have a public self and a personal self. And all they've done is shown a person their public self, how Instagram imagines them. And they're very reluctant to let people in on their own personal self because that means showing them that they're not perfect. That means showing them that they have flaws, that they have vulnerabilities, that they have fears. And one of the things that happens is people spend so much time masking those things and hiding those things from that individual that is the sole reason that the relationship didn't work and they break up. So it's actually, and this is what Orlando Baton says, it's better to meet someone and go, in which way are you flawed? So you can find out all the things that they're fucked up from.
That's what I strongly believe in now is having that communication at the start of a relationship, because it's so easy to sit down with someone. It's like a meeting. If you have a business meeting, you go in and you say, right, are we going to work together or not? You get this, you get this. Yeah. If you go in and say, right, okay, this is what I do. This is my type of job. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be doing this. And they do the same thing. For me, I'm going to try and adopt this method going into the next relationship and try and just go, actually, have those conversations at the beginning, because timing is key, right? You have those conversations 2 years down the line when you've got a kid or when you're married or when you're arguing. It's too late.
But do you find those flaws within, everybody, like men, for example, are feeling sort of trapped within their relationships because they're allowing manipulation upon themselves. So then they're losing their sort of masculinity, their masculine frame. And then they're probably not being respected by their partners the same. So what would you suggest to reinstill people's masculinity?
It's really interesting.
Or men's masculinity.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Three emotional men here. Try not to make us cry, all right?
I think there's so many things here. So
James is just thinking, how the hell can I get this guy to help me with all my relationship problems? James thinking the same.
I'll try and break down some concepts. Firstly, what you said about a relationship. I shared a post last week on my newsletter about boiling a frog. And what the story is...
I saw this.
Oh, yeah. I did see this,
cool.
Yeah.
And if you put and it's bullshit, okay? If you put a frog in and it boiled up, it would jump out, but go with me. If you put a frog in boiling water, it will jump out. If you put it in cold water and you slowly increase the temperature, it'll boil and it'll kill the frog. And what it talks about is that if we walked into a relationship and we knew everything about that person, we knew that they're a fucking head case, we'd have left ages ago. But if that person wasn't a head case when we got with them, and then the love created the blindness.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they got a little bit more fucked up. It's very hard for us to let go because we're naturally invested in that thing.
Yeah.
And, we're very kind of tribalistic. We stay with people, we support people, and we're willing to allow all of that pain and suffering because for some reason we're afraid of starting afresh and new. And it's so important to understand that 20-year-old Jamie's thoughts about relationships is going to be very different to 30-year-old Jamie and 40-year-old Jamie and 50-year-old Jamie. So it's also important to then have a reassessment. Now, I've been with my wife since I was 13.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I've been with my wife since I was 13, and someone asked her.
That's incredible.
And they said, how have you stayed with Jay for 25 years? And she said, it's because I've been with 6 men. And I was like, have you? And she was referring to me. And she goes, when I got with Jay, he was a teenager. And then he left and he became a soldier. And then he left the army and then became a personal trainer. And then he left there and became an entrepreneur. Then he left that and then he became this and then that. And what she's talking about is the evolution and growth of me as an individual going from a 13-year-old kind of scared teenager who was, didn't have a fucking clue to where I am now.
That's so smart for your missus to go through those steps and stages of the different
Yeah.
characteristics and the personalities you.
That's why
Yeah,
you're
100%. But it's not just me that's evolved. It's
But that's supportive.
It's
Her as
her
well.
that's evolved and changed.
Yeah.
And she's changed for the better with that. She's changed with us. Whereas a lot of relationships, that doesn't always happen. And you can't always expect that to happen because as though you evolve over 20 years, 30 years, your likes and interests change and so does theirs. And this is why communication is so important. And this is why I think, and it's probably the hardest thing to do, to sit down and have a proper conversation and go, we've changed as people. How do we navigate this? Which, if you add kids and marriage and all the other things into the equation, it's not a simple answer. There are very strong, complex things. Add into the equation things like, separation, assets. It's not an easy decision
Change
to
of
allow.
time, economy, introduction of social media, freedom.
Yeah. But this, sorry.
Yeah. So what's the answer? And the answer is it's painful.
Yeah.
It is.
Shit.
There's a few areas though that you went into there, right? That are like all similar, but they're all on like different levels. So you mentioned like the boiling frog, right? So put a frog in boiling water, it won't jump out. You simmer the water. I didn't realise that's in correlation to seeing a person and how they change over time, right? Because if you see two people on a date and they're out together, you can see they're on a first date because they're just not being themselves. It's actually, when you came in here, you were very much yourself. You're like, fuck, and as I've got older, I've learned it's always the best way to be is just completely yourself, right? It sounds cliche, but you learn it to be true. And that experience thing is better than reading something when you experience that. And then the other thing you said, I can't remember the name of the guy, but it was there was something you said just before the boiling frog, a guy's name.
Alain de Botton, about in what way are you flawed? Or
Yeah. What's the conclusion then with that? I don't think we got to the conclusion of the Orlando Baton thing.
Oh, do you know what? Like, I hate to bastardize things. So let's see if I can find. Okay. Because I love this so much. I share it on my anniversary, and Anna's like, "Yeah, love you too." All of us are crazy in very particular ways. We're distinctly neurotic, unbalanced, and immature, but don't quite know the details because no one ever encourages us too hard to find them out. An urgent primary task of any lover is therefore to get a handle on the specific ways in which they are mad. They have to get up to speed with their individual neuroses. They have to grasp where these have come from, what they make them do, and most importantly, what sort of people either provoke or assuade them. I think that is. A good partnership is not so much one between two healthy people. There aren't many of these on the planet. It's one between two demented people who have had the skill or luck to find a non-threatening, conscious accommodation between their relative insanities.
Wow.
And it's such an important thing to understand that, one of the things about finding the perfect partner is they're not perfect, and neither are you. And if you're not willing to let people in on your craziness, you're never going to find that person.
But based on that, anyone could be with anyone, right? Because everyone's
100%.
crazy. So do you believe that anyone could be with anyone? And do you believe that, let's say you're very scared about something and you meet this person that is all your fears, but by being together, you're, laws of attraction or whatever it is, or, you're being pulled together because a lot of therapists would say you're being pulled together so that this person can help you because you're going to then face all your worst fears and fix them rather than being with somebody that doesn't give you any fears at all and the life feels like it could be good and could be easy, but does that person not really exist? So what's your sort of thoughts on that?
There's a thing called attachment theory.
Oh, attached to the book?
I'm not too sure on that. But
anxious attachment or avoidant attachment?
Yeah. And a lot of that, at the end of the day, it stems down to your upbringing. And that's where it locks in. I have friends who their partners text them every day.
Every hour?
Every hour. That they need stuff. They want to check where they are.
Yeah.
And I look at that, and in a relationship with me, that would be an instant red flag, and you're gone.
Yeah.
However, he fucking loves it.
Yeah.
And the reason being is
he
loves to be cared about, needed. That's a signal to him that he has a healthy relationship and he loves looking after her like that. He loves it. Okay, so for me, nightmare. For him, perfect.
Subjective, yeah.
So it's, once again, finding in which way that you're flawed with attachments. You know, like for me, my mum and dad are still together. There are, you know, benefits and disadvantages. Like I haven't hugged my dad for 15 years. You know, and you think, well, my dad shows his love in different ways. So he's not very touchy-feely, huggy. But if I gave him a call at 2 o'clock in the morning to say that I can't get in my house, he'd be there in 5 minutes to let me in. So it's different ways that you understand. But the same way that...
What would you do if you did hug him now?
Well, I've actually been speaking on the last couple of podcasts and I've been making more of an effort to challenge myself to do it.
Oh, wow. So it's actually a challenge.
Yeah. It's been a challenge for me to do it.
That's quite surprising because you're quite, you know, you're put together. But if someone says, Jay, I think this is wrong or this is right, I think you understand that really well. So,
but once again, it's also understanding in what way you're flawed.
Yeah.
So how can I give people advice if I don't take my own?
Yeah.